to Shimmering, Splendid, where I review Walt Disney World rides and attractions. Today I'm going to be reviewing a ride that I should have reviewed in October because it's considered one of the scariest rides to ever come to Disney World, Tower of Terror. This ride opened on July 22nd, 1994 in Disney World and on May 5th, 2004 at Disney's California Adventure. That version of the ride is scheduled to close on January 3rd, 2017 in order to make way for the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout ride. There's a lot of controversy surrounding this decision, and I'm not going to get into it. I'm just really happy that we get to keep the version in Florida. This ride is the tallest building in the Walt Disney World Resort and is the second tallest structure overall. It's only 6 inches shorter than Expedition Everest. You can actually see Tower of Terror from Epcot, but they specifically designed the back of it to blend in with the Morocco Pavilion. So if you're ever in Epcot, take a look and see if you can spot it. The ride takes you into an episode of The Twilight Zone, where the Hollywood Tower Hotel elevator was struck by lightning and the 5 passengers inside plummeted into the Twilight Zone. When you get into the elevator, the lightning strike happens just as it did before and you are plummeted into the Twilight Zone. I'm sure you all know what this ride is about. It's a drop ride. It's a scary drop ride. You fall 130 feet at a top speed of 39 miles an hour. Now, here's a cool fact that I didn't know. You're not actually free falling on this ride. There's actually cables pulling you down in the car, and that's why you tend to rise out of your seat more than you would on any other type of drop ride. The ride is randomized by a computer, but you are guaranteed to always have one faux drop and one complete drop of the full 130 feet and the 39 miles per hour. Okay, so for the pros, let's ignore the obvious for the beginning and start with the theme. This theme is full throughout. When you walk into the queue line, you're going through the gardens of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Then you go into the lobby, which is full of really intricate details. You can see the cobwebs over the tables. You see the waiting areas. There's all these tiny little things that you can look at. And you've got cast members dressed as bellhops that adopt this really creepy persona. Then after you do the pre-show video, you go into the boiler room, which, I mean, I've never been in a boiler room, but I assume that they look exactly like that queue line. It definitely builds the suspense. It definitely makes you feel like you are in an episode of The Twilight Zone, and it's just beautifully done. And then after the ride is over, Rod Sterling says, "Welcome back to those of you who made it." And I just think that's the perfect tie-in because there's always at least one person in your group that doesn't think they're going to make it through this ride. This is also the first ride in all of Disney World to offer video as well as pictures. At the very top of the ride, you usually get your picture taken, but now you also can get a video of that moment. And they also added an additional camera to get a video of the moment that you enter the 5th dimension, which I was not expecting, and I was making silly faces during that. And then there's the obvious that this ride is so much fun. It is thrilling. It is exciting. It makes your stomach do flip-flops, and that's awesome. And that's also its biggest con because not everybody likes that, and that's okay. If you're not into drop rides, this ride has absolutely nothing to offer you. It's just a big drop. People who don't do drops well or who are prone to motion sickness or don't really like scary because this is a really suspenseful ride. The queue line is suspenseful. The pre-show video is waiting in the boiler room, being in the elevator as it's taking you to that drop. The whole thing is full of suspense. And if people don't handle that very well, this is not going to be a good ride for them. If all of that doesn't sound like your cup of tea, just skip it. Sit outside, enjoy a cup of coffee, get an ice cream, and enjoy the schadenfreude of listening to other people scared out of their mind and screaming. My overall opinion is if you at all think that you can handle this ride, definitely give it a try. I have a friend who is not the biggest fan of this ride. She was almost literally dragged kicking and screaming onto it, but she's proud that she's ridden it and she knows she can handle it, even if it does make her stomach do flip-flops and even if she is nearly in tears because she can't handle those drops. But she's proud that she does it. And it really is just a classic Disney ride. It's one of those that you think of when you think of Hollywood Studios, or even when you think of Disney World as a whole. It's kind of the more like adult teenager ride. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my top 10 Disney rides of all time, maybe even my top 5. I ride it at least twice every time I go. I love it. and I think that a lot of people share that opinion. I would give this ride 9 out of 10 beckoning ghost people, because who doesn't love nearly wetting their pants on a Disney vacation? So what do you think? Is Tower of Terror really all that exciting, or is it just plain scary? And is it really the scariest ride to ever come to Disney World? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please leave me requests for other rides that I can review. And as always, if you like my reviews, feel free to like, subscribe, and check back every Thursday for another Shining, Shimmering, Splendid review.